Welcome back to another edition of Strengthening Oklahoma. And this edition of Strengthening Oklahoma is brought to you by the Winston in Norman. The Winstons got great food, better drinks, and the best patio in Norman. Visit thewinston.com to see their menu or order online. We are a day away from kickoff in Ames, Iowa, as the Sooners look to make it two straight after a nice win against Kansas before the bye. 2 weeks to prepare for the Cyclones. And man, the last time we saw the Sooners, the offense, it was rolling. And a big reason why? Star wide receivers like our guy this week, Mr. Theo Wease. Theo, how we doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be back on here.
Always a pleasure to have you. Man, obviously the 3-game slide stunk. How good did it feel to have your quarterback back, to have the offense absolutely rolling at home as you guys were able to rip off 700 plus yards of offense against Kansas?
It felt great, honestly. Like some of us was on the sideline asking, like, can somebody pinch me? I feel like I'm dreaming. Like it felt like a Tuesday practice or like a Wednesday practice. Like everything just was so on point, just routine plays just being made everywhere.
So how good did it feel for you personally? Because we don't have to sugarcoat it, right? The game plan against Texas was not very wide receiver friendly, right? Especially you, like you weren't playing as many snaps as you normally do. So you went from that to then back on the field for a ton of plays, catching touchdowns, man. That had to feel good.
No, definitely. It felt great. Honestly, the best part about it is the happy locker room after the game. Just that vibe and just that energy just from everybody just being excited. That's the best part. That's what it's all about.
It is. And it was great to see. We're happy for you guys. And I think it goes without saying a big reason why the quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, was back. What does he do aside from run this offense, just from a confidence standpoint of you guys? How important is that to get him back and have him on the field?
It's highly important. Just him being back out there, just him being comfortable in the system, it just gives Coach Levy just more confidence and playing more aggressive. Just taking more shots, just throwing the ball around a lot more. And, just us as receivers, we love having DG back, because he's just that leader. He's QB1. So, when you're missing QB1, it kind of feels just a little off. But we was glad to have him back, and we got the rolling.
So one of the things that can really help the passing game is when the running game is really clicking. And man, what are you seeing from Eric Gray right now, bro? Because I feel like he's really taking it to another level.
No, definitely. I see just a focus, just locked in 24/7. Like every time he's in the facility, he got his headphones on, and you can just tell like he's in that mode. He's treating every practice like a game day, and it's clearly showing on game day because he's getting better every week.
He is nasty in the open field, man. You put that man in space, he'll put you in a spin cycle. Fun to watch, and exactly what I think everybody kind of expected whenever he made the transfer from Tennessee. Bye week. What was it? What was the focus? What was the point of emphasis? You guys obviously have a tall test this week in Iowa State, but going back to last week, was the focus on you guys, or did you guys get specific to the next opponent?
We definitely dove right into the next opponent. Got a couple of days of good practice in. Then we had the weekend off. My focus on the weekend, honestly, was get away from football. I don't want to hear nothing about football. I don't want to look at it. Nothing. I just took that time, just enjoyed it with my family. Just recharged, and then just getting ready for this ending stretch.
So what was the highlight then, right? Because I'm assuming you went back to Dallas, saw the parents, right? What was the highlight back home?
Going to the fair. Oh my
Ooh.
goodness. Going to the fair it was like the second to last day before it closed, so we got lucky. Yeah, going to the fair, that was the best part.
Did you take the little man? I mean, you got the
Of
cutest son
course.
ever. Little man
I
enjoy
appreciate
himself?
it. Yeah, he did for the most part. It was kind of getting hot, then he was getting hungry. You know how that is.
I just imagine it's Trey, right? Trey?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just imagine him with like a big old turkey leg in his hand, just like gnawing on it.
That's how he was. He had like this little it was like a slushy. It was called a manganata. and he was all over it. Like it was really mine, but you know how it is with
I know
kids. They
that.
take it over
I know
quick.
how that it becomes his real quick.
Yeah, yeah. It was all his.
I'll take a manganata. You can pass one my
Put some
way
rum in that thing.
as well. Maybe just a skosh. Not for Trey though, just for us old folk. So Iowa State, man, it's a big challenge for you guys, and obviously you want to keep this momentum going. 52 points, 700 yards. Had the pass game going for over 400. The run game just under 3. And now you're going to take on what I would say statistically, and really when you watch them, they've played better than anybody else in this league to this point. As good a defense as you guys will see. What jumps off the tape as you've had now 2 weeks to study this opponent?
Just how technically sound they are, how disciplined they are, and what they do. Like, and they got a lot of vets on their defense, so you can tell on film that they're playing real comfortable. They're playing fast. They're not really second guessing themselves. They just high energy, great discipline. They're a great coach team always, every year.
So one of the things that stands out to me about their defense is how challenging they can make it on wide receivers when it comes to blocking in the run game, right? The way that they spin some things, like you sometimes you're almost guessing with how random it can be, with which safety's coming down, which one's staying high. It's interesting to watch on tape. How do you guys handle that as a wide receiver group heading into this game? And like, do you just know, hey, this is a game. It's just gonna be a little different for us in the blocking phase of this thing.
Nah, you definitely got to stay on your toes. Like with a regular defense, I would definitely just key to safeties. I would key to safeties first just to see what's going on. That'll give me an idea what coverage it is. But with the Iowa State, the Cyclone defense, you got to key to Bandit. The Bandit is the middle safety in the defense. He's gonna give you everything you need to know about what's gonna happen, who's gonna trigger, and just little things like that. And to get more in depth, when you got a safety far off the hash in the corner with his eyes stuck inside, take a wild guess. The corner's probably gonna step flat, so you probably need to step flat and cover him if you blocking most dangerous. But that's just yeah. So that's how it is. You just key the Bandit. He'll give you all the keys, all the answers.
And you guys have obviously grown accustomed to playing against this defense, and you also see some of it in the spring. You saw some in fall camp because Oklahoma runs some similar defense. Does that give you any kind of added advantage? The fact that you guys have seen this even more so now with Oklahoma implementing something very similar in their Cyclone look?
Oh, definitely. We everybody on the offense, we feel like we played this game already because we've seen that defense, that specific defense, so much already from spring to camp, just like you said. So we all got a lot of confidence, definitely.
So looking at their secondary, the guy that stands out to me is number one, Anthony Johnson. Now, he'd played corner in the past. They felt good about a couple of their young corners, so they're playing him more at safety. Now, what kind of stands out to you, just about anybody kind of in their secondary that's kind of jumped off the tape to you?
Definitely the one that stands out the most is the one you said, number one. Great tackler, great in the run fits, honestly. And honestly, he's great in coverage too. He got great closing speed when he's in deep zones. Both of their corners, they're not bad at all. Number five, he's 2-year starter, I think, real smart. Number two, the boundary corner, he gets a little handsy, but they're a great defense all around. Like they all complement each other in a good way too.
What about 17? I know that he's a guy that will come up. He will hit you. He will tackle. Bo Frailer, I mean, he's another guy that I think at the safety spot, I mean, really plays what they ask him to do really well.
Yeah, he's their bandit. So we definitely got all our eyes on him every play for sure. And the bandit is supposed to be the best defensive player on the field at that time. So that says a lot about him right there, that they got that much trust in him to do that. But on film, he shows why he's their bandit. He comes and makes the routine plays all the time. And you'll never catch any of those guys just out of position.
That's the truth. And the thing about 17, it's like he's going to get you on the ground. He'll let you run. He'll let you run over him. It doesn't matter. He's gonna grab those legs and he's gonna get you on the ground. Now, this is, another road trip right? And Ames it's a different kind of road trip. It's hard to describe if you haven't gone through it, but just how excited are you for another chance to, the last time you're going to get to play in that stadium, man?
Yeah, I love the road games. Just nothing better than going to somebody else's home and just trying to take it over. But yeah, Ames is. I'm definitely gonna try to make it one to remember because I know it's the last one. So
We've talked this week with some of your teammates and some that have played there, some that haven't played there. Two things stand out to us. The crowd is good, but really it's the noise they pump in. That sound system is ridiculous. And then so is the length of the grass. It's almost as if they want to try to slow down the opponent. And by the look on your face, you would completely agree.
no, the grass is crazy. It's like they don't cut it at all.
It is.
That's by design, though, man. It's trying to slow fast cats like you down.
Slow track,
no, definitely.
man. It's a slow track. Do you have to? And I know the equipment guys. We got some of the best equipment guys in the game, right? Like, is that something you're talking to them about? 3/4 inch cleats, like all that stuff. You guys having that conversation?
Yeah, they're already all on top of it. So we get like the screw in cleats. So it's not really. It gives you better. It gives you better chance of just not slipping when you're coming in and out of your routes or just making a cut. So let's pray. Even though the grass is 10 inches in the air, let's pray that it works.
It's like deep rough at a U.S. Open. I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy. Look down, you can't even see your shoes. I mean, obviously we're being a little facetious, but they let it get a little out of control. Hopefully it won't slow down you guys offensively. Can't wait to see exactly what you guys have in store. It's good on good, though. You guys play at your best. You're one of the best offenses in the league, and this is one of the best defenses. So it's going to be fun to see this matchup unfold on Saturday in Ames. Let's get to some fan questions. Fan questions brought to you by Love's Travel Stops. Visit loves.com for more information on the nation's leading travel stop network that's headquartered right here in the great state of Oklahoma. Andrew Just Moss on Twitter asks, does number 10 have a special meaning to you?
Honestly, no. But I'll tell you why I wear number 10. So my big brother, he used to wear number 9. And I wore number 9 all little league, middle school. And my freshman year, we weren't allowed to wear single digits. And 10 was the closest to 9. So it stuck, and now I'm 10.
Wait, you weren't allowed to wear single digits? Was that a rule or
Allen High School? It was a rule. I don't understand it.
Wait, hold on. Did anyone get to wear a single digit or no single digits?
No single digits as a freshman.
Wow. How about that, Gabe?
That seems like a dumb rule. I'm just going to say it. I know Allen's had a lot of success, but I mean, that makes no sense to me. Especially a freshman as good as you. What are we doing? What are we doing down in Allen?
Now, I've been hitting the head a lot, and I'm getting old, Theo. So forgive me. Did Kyler not go to Allen?
He did go to Allen.
Did they make an exception for him? I'm guessing they let him wear what he wanted.
I'm sure they did because I've only seen Kyler in number 1. So
yeah, I mean he's
fair enough.
He's Kyler Murray.
He's pretty good. So yeah,
he's okay. I guess I'd take him on my team.
All right, this last one, Theo, comes from Preston Woods, who says, "Who is your favorite Sooner wide receiver alum?"
I'm biased. Like I gotta go with CD. Like he put me under his wing my freshman year, and so I gotta go with him. But one that I liked, if I wasn't being biased, Dede. He was like you can't look past. He was Heisman finalist. Like you can't look past that as a receiver. That's crazy.
Have you met Dede at all? Have you been able to spend any time with him?
Yeah.
That dude's funny, man.
Nah, he is. He definitely is.
It's a goofy guy.
Yeah.
He's got some entrepreneurship going on, I think, now. He's got a little like what is it? Food truck, right?
Yeah, he got a food truck
and
the detailing. Yep.
That dude, he was a monster back in the day. I would have to be probably partial to Mark Clayton, but I'll tell you, in my household, we're big Dallas Cowboys fans coming from the Dallas area, and my son, my 10-year-old's maybe a bigger Cowboys fan than me, if that's possible. And when CD was his favorite player at OU, and we were watching the draft, when they drafted CeeDee Lamb, I think it was the happiest I've ever seen that kid ever. So like he's always rocking the CeeDee Lamb jersey. So I would say he's pretty much become an easy household favorite around here. So an easy guy to root for. And hopefully you can keep making plays. Hopefully he and the Cowboys can keep making plays as well. Well, man, all we can really say is best of luck. Get them cleats right. Get that mind right. Go make some plays, man. Can't wait to see how this looks in Ames tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, man. There you go. Big thank you to Theo for joining us as always. And now it's time for me and my man Gabe to break it down. The breakdown brought to you by the Oklahoma Proton Center. It's one of the top cancer centers in the region using state-of-the-art proton therapy. Oklahoma Proton Center, more than a cure, quality of life. Man, great to hear from Theo. He's in a good mood. You know, one of the things I appreciated the most, we kind of baited him. I don't know if you realize that or not, but we tried to make it about him and about stats and about how to feel to get back in the end zone. And you know what he said? Not up in here. Shut that down. And he talked about the team. And to hear him say the smiles on everyone's faces in the locker room post-game was music to my ears. I have no problem if you want to enjoy having individual success, but when it's genuine that the success of the team supersedes the success of you personally, that's the type of culture, that's the type of mindset you want, especially from your veterans. So I thought that was money there from Theo.
Yeah, and this is a conversation I've been having with a lot of people that aren't around the program a lot. A lot of people that cover college football nationally that have asked me about OU. And I keep coming back to this. Is the season going the way that Brent Venables and this team wanted it to go? No, it's not. And that's okay to say, right? We did not expect this football team to be 4-3. We just didn't. But the more I hear from these guys that we have, the more that I hear about them talk about team and culture and all that stuff, it continues to make me feel really, really good about where this program is at and where it's heading. Because sometimes we get so focused on this year's team, right? And you can't see kind of what's developing for the future. And the more I hear these guys talk about the attitude that is within the walls of that building, the more encouraged I become about what Brent Venables and that staff are building and what it could be moving forward. So I know this season hasn't gone well, but just us being able to talk to these guys as often as we have now, Dusty, it makes me feel, I feel good about the future, because it seems like there's really strong leadership, at the coaching level, but also a lot of strong leadership in that locker room.
I agree. I think it's well said by you. And there's been no fracturing. There's been no splintering, which could easily happen, man. Like
no tweets, no angry tweets.
Start to point the finger, start to get upset, start to do the blame game. We haven't seen any of that. So we'll see what that looks like these final 5 games. They're 4-3 right now. Best case scenario, you get to 9-3. I think probably 8-4 is reasonable, but who knows? I mean, as we know in the Big 12, here's the reality. Oklahoma could win every game on their schedule, and they could potentially lose every game on their schedule. I don't know exactly where that falls, but I agree with you. The overall foundation of this new era of Oklahoma football, it's being laid as we speak, and it's being laid through some adversity, through some difficult times, yet guys are still bought in. And that's important, because it's easy when things get tough, when things get hard, to check out. And it seems like that's anything. There couldn't be anything further from that going on with this program right now. This Iowa State defense, it's good, man. It's good defense. And it's more the sum of the parts, like the individual players. They're good. They got some good players. I don't know if they have great players. Will McDonald, when they get in more of their 4-man look, when they get in if Oklahoma finds himself in third and long situations, predictable passing situations, they will go some 4 down. And Will McDonald, number 9, whenever he can get on an outside shade of a tackle, whether it's a 5 or a little bit wider, if he loosens up, he's a problem. He's got a really good inside move. He's got long arms. He's twitchy, and he can bend the edge. And so that is a guy, to me, that potentially could present some problems. I still think he's a little bit light in the run game, but
Definitely.
when it's a true passing situation, he really is one of the elite pass rushers in the Big 12, Iowa State's all-time leading sack guy. So he is definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I think inside, they're strong with their hands. They got heavy hands. They punch. They get off blocks. And like you'd expect, they fight their tail off. And so it's going to be a challenge for this offensive line. Like, it really is. Again, I don't want to sit here and say there's just pros littered everywhere, but the way they play, the physicality that they play with, and their backers are come downhill and they can get off of blocks. The offensive line played great against Kansas. They need to pick up where they left off in this game because they're going to be challenged against this Iowa State front.
Yeah, and it all starts with playing with good pad level, because Iowa State's guys, and I know you see it on the tape, that's like they play with low pads and good hands.
Yep.
And you got to match that, right? I mean, you got to match guys that are playing with really good technique with even better technique. I mean, that's how it works. Now, as far as the run game for Oklahoma, I really think the best course of action would be to attack the perimeter, the edges of the defense. And
absolutely.
We've seen some of the GT counter stuff hitting wider. It's been good. The play where they G-pull the front side guard, he kicks out, they bring the tight end from that backside wing around. Like, that's been good. I would pay good money for them to run some true outside zone in this game. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to hold out hope. But I think attacking those edges and making those heavy-handed guys that want to hunker down and strain and play double teams, make them move. And one of the main reasons, their Mike Backer is 260. And he does not run particularly well, but if you want to play in a phone booth, like if you want to run a bunch of stuff downhill at him, like, he will thump some people. So I think kind of some wider run concepts is the way to go against this team. But the challenge when it comes to running the football, like, you got to make guys miss. This is year in and year out. It's the best tackling team that Oklahoma plays against. So you got to make them miss some. There's going to be one-on-one situations for Eric Gray, for these wide receivers. They got to make a guy miss and turn it into a big play.
Yeah. Like, so when I watch if you look at the box score against Texas, Bijan had a big day, but they had to fight for it. And to your point, a lot of it in between the tackles just wasn't there.
He had to make, on some of those inside zone concepts, he had to make like 4 guys miss to get like 6 yards. It was crazy. It
was tough. It was really tough sledding. But that, to your point, that's really the only way you're going to get it, unless you can get to the perimeter, because in between the tackles, man, it is tough. It's tough out there in them streets. And one thing I'll say about Eric Gray, I don't want to say he's Bijan Robinson, but he can make you miss. Yep. And I think that continuing to give a steady dose of Eric Gray, I like what I've seen from Javonte Barnes. He gives a nice little added element as well. But as far as making that initial tackler miss and being able to get north and south pretty quickly, Eric Gray is by far the best back that they have. And it's going to take that in this ball game. So what do you go for? $176 against Kansas? I'd love to see Eric Gray get quite a bit of run, quite a bit of opportunities, and see if he can bust one, make a couple of guys miss, and get it going. Another thing just with the pass game, DG against this defense, you got to be careful and you got to be patient, right? Especially when they do their drop 8 stuff. There's going to be a lot of guys in coverage, eyes on him. They are well trained. They know how to play in this defense. I think they do a good job of anticipating route concepts as well. So opportunities are going to be there, but this will be his first time to play against this defense and against this scheme with a John Haycock's implement on it. And so I would just say for DG, got to take care of the football, and you got to be careful with exactly where you're putting the ball and putting the ball in harm's way. Because if you do, they will attack the football and they will go get it.
This is probably the best way to put it. He's played against 3-3-5s, right?
Yep.
He has not played against this defense.
That's right.
No one, remember, John Haycock invented this thing.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to copy it. No one runs it as efficiently as Iowa State.
Yep.
Now, there's other teams running 3-3-5s that have more talented players than Iowa State, but no one runs it as efficiently and as clean and as disciplined as Iowa State runs it. It's a challenge as a quarterback because basically they say, hey, man, play boring football. We got all these guys back here. Take the underneath stuff. Have fun. It's got to be infuriating to play against, especially, and this is something that's interesting. Like Jeff Lebby, he's called plays against plenty of 3-3-5s. He's never called plays against this defense.
Yep.
So that's a little interesting wrinkle. But one thing that Dillon Gabriel's gonna have to be good at in this game, he has to have great eye discipline. Because you mentioned their pattern recognition. You can see it on the tape. Their back end, they move like it creepily in unison with where the quarterback looks.
Oh, yeah.
They float with it. And if he can use that to his advantage, right, know how to create holes in the zone by using his eyes as a weapon, if he's doing that, then we'll know he's playing quarterback at a high level. And he's going to have to do some of that. I do think they're going to take some shots, right?
Of course.
You have to, and hopefully this is the game they connect on it, man, because it's been too long.
Agreed. And yes, eye discipline, trying to fool the back end of that defense, take them where you want them to go to set up what is coming open is going to be a real key in this game. And that's what veteran experienced quarterbacks can do. And that's where Dillon is going to need to be just that guy. It's our last show on here, so I just want to make this point, though we've been very heavy offense because we've done a lot of defense this week. This is good on good, right? I think it's the other side of the ball that determines this game.
I'm with you.
As much as, and you made the point the other day, and I think it's spot on. I totally agree. I talked about this similar earlier in the week. They're not just going to move the ball up and down the field. Iowa State's going to get some stops. They'll stop anybody in the country. I mean, that's just the way it goes. They're going to get some stops. And that means Oklahoma defensively has to get stops. And I believe this is crazy stat, and this is where I think it's going to be won or lost. And we talked about this earlier in the week. Can Oklahoma stop Iowa State's rushing attack? Oklahoma, I believe, is 121st in the country at yards per game. Iowa State is 118th in rushing yards per game. It's bad on bad. Let's just call it what it is. And both of those aspects of their team know it. They've worked on it. Iowa State's coming off a bye too. And I think whoever can win that matchup, if you can completely stop Iowa State from running it, put them in passing, predictable situations, you're going to give yourself a great chance for success. Third downs would be the other aspect to me. Oklahoma has struggled mightily getting off the field. They can get off the field and they can limit Iowa State running the football. I think they go win this ball game in Ames tomorrow.
I completely agree. And this is the way I see it. Strength on strength, weakness on weakness. That's what we've got here. And I'm really interested to see how the defense plays. Not only how they play, but the type of energy and attitude they bring to the game. Like, are they beaten down? Right? Like, have they lost all their confidence, or can they show up and be the group we saw the first 3 weeks of the season? We know it's in there, man. We've seen it. It's got to bring it back out again. And I hope this is the week. I really do, because if it's not, Ames is not an easy place to play.
No.
Not an easy place to play, and that defense is rock solid. So I think it's going to be a close football game, man. I I think this is going to be a nail biter for the Sooners, but hoping they come out on the right side of things.
Got to find a way. And Vegas agrees. I believe Oklahoma, a 1-point favorite in Ames coming up tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be back with you on Monday to break it all down. Win, lose, or draw. But it's college, not the NFL. Thank God there will be no draw. There will be a winner and there will be a loser. Big winner for us, Muse Growth Strategies. Thanks to them for continuing to help us spread the word about strengthening Oklahoma. And a reminder, as you're watching on YouTube or however you watch your podcast, click that subscribe button. We would very much appreciate that. If you enjoy and appreciate the content that you're getting to view each and every week, don't forget, you can check out our website, strengtheningok.com, to continue to support our cause, our athletes here at Strengthening Oklahoma. And thanks to you guys, our subscribers, our new subscribers, people checking us out. We appreciate you. We thank you. And we'll see you again next week right here on Strengthening Oklahoma.